Shabbat Shalom. Welcome everybody to Temple Israel. I'm Rabbi Brown and Cantor Kathy all at once. He is out of town, so we will miss him tonight, but we are joined by somebody new today, Raquel on piano. So welcome Raquel. She's a wonderful accompanist. Mickey is out of town, and now we have somebody else that can help beautify our services. So we're going to do announcements later in the service, where I'll have Skip do the announcements prior to introducing our speakers. So we're going to move right to our candle and Kiddush blessings. I'd like to welcome up Susan. It's okay. And let's turn to page 2.
We light these candles. We light these candles to rejoice in the freedom we share with each other. It is the light that beckons us, the light of peace, the light of hope, the light of mitzvot. As we candle these lights, may we bring strength to one another as we are inspired by the light of our tradition. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And if you'll hold up the cup, and we'll join in the Kiddush on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron la'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila la'mikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikohamim, v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. We turn now to page 10, where we say how nice it is that brothers and sisters can be together in our community, our temple brothers and sisters, as we sing Hine Ma Tov, and let's sing joyously. Hine Ma Tov Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad, Hine Ma Tov Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad, Hine Ma Tov Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad, Hine Ma Tov Manayim Shevet ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. שבת אחים גם יחד. שבת אחים גם יחד. So we walk back through our week right now. As we turn to page 20, we think about where we were a week ago, and we separate. We separate the work week to our new week with this little reprieve in between called Shabbat, which allows us just to take a breath. So we can literally, together, let's just take that breath in and release. And as you release, think of Shabbat entering your soul, entering this room. We will open the doors on the end of the verse and welcome Shabbat in as a bride. Page 20, L'chadodi. L'chadodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamur v'zachor b'dibur echad, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד, שמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה. לכדודי, לכדודי לקרא כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לכדודי לקרא כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במשכה בתחילה. לכדודי, לכדודי לקרא כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לכדודי לקרא כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Verse 5, התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורה קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לכדודי, לכדודי לקרא כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לכדודי לקרא כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Please rise as you are able. In body or spirit, face the entrance to your home or to our sanctuary. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובסוכנה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לכדודי, לכדודי לקרא כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לכדודי לקרא כלה, nekabela. Please turn to page 26 for the Chatzi Kaddish. Yikadav yikadash amei rabba be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchayedechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'meru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach le'alam u'amei almaya yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitroma v'yitnasi v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei d'kodesha barichu le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma Vimaru, Amen. Page 28, the Baruch Hu, our call to worship. La 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 Page 31 at the top. Praise to you, Adonai, for whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of tide and time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Amariv Aravim. Page 33 at the top. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ahiv Amo Yisrael. Pages 34 and 35, the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kivud Malchuto Le'olam Vayim. Please be seated and join me on page 36 for the Via Hafta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadavarim ha'eleh asher Anohi metzavecha hayom alavavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam ושבתך בביתך ולכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזו ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם. On page 39, let us read responsively at the bottom. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way, inspired by prophets and instructed by sages. Time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations shall be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing from the shores of the sea. Page 40, Mi Chamocha. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. Melechutecha ra'uvanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'elianu ve'ameru, Ze'elianu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam ba'id, Adonai yimloch le'olam ba'id, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. So we turn to page 42, our Hashkivenu prayer, which is the prayer that sometimes parents say over their children when they tuck them in at night, informing them and reassuring them that there will be peace and that they will wake up having been sheltered by God. This version of Hashkivenu that I'm going to sing tonight is one you're familiar with, and it's written by Dan Nichols. And I'm going to start promoting now because we are bringing Dan Nichols here in December. And my Cantor Kathy Music Fund is funding bringing the artist here as part of our giving our congregation a view into the Jewish world of contemporary music. And Dan has been around for a long time, and he's one of my favorites. And this is his Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shamrenu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu Reinu L'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shamrenu l'chaim, 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 l'chaim. We will hear more of Dan Nichols' music for our Yom Kippur service, our family afternoon service, where we will be singing a lot of his music and getting the congregation comfortable to hearing his music so that when he does come here, we can sing along with him. Please turn to page 46 for our Amidah and Rise. Adonai, Sifatai Tivtach, Ufi Agitahilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geula Lifnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol atah, Rav LeHoshia, Morid HaTal, Mechakel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umidam Melach, Melech Memit, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. You may be seated. Please read with me at the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat. Our prayer for peace, page 60, Shalom Rav. Please sing with me. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tassim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tassim Leolam. Ki atah melech hador, lecha hashalom. Ki atah melech hador, lechol
shalom, shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarich et amcha Yisrael b'chol het uv'chol shah b'shlamecha. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Please take a few moments for silent reflection.
Yiyu l'ratzon refi ve'yon libi lefanecha. Yiyu l'ratzon refi ve'yon libi lefanecha. Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri v'goali. Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri v'goali. Yiyu l'ratzon refi ve'yon libi lefanecha. Yiyu l'ratzon refi ve'yon libi lefanecha.
We turn now to our Torah service, which is found on page 246. I'd like to invite Greg McMeans to our bima, as well as Lori Zuckerman. She can make her way up because she's going to be reading Torah, and the Radwanis will be doing our blessing. Please rise as we open the ark. Skip, would you like to open the ark?
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, u'devar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah.
Put it on your shoulder.
Le'amo Yisrael mikedushato, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad, echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadalu Adonai iti Shemo Yaktav Lecha Adonai Hagedula Hagehora Hatiferet Hanetzach Hahor Ki Kol Bashamayim Uvaretz Ki Kol Bashamayim Uvaretz Lecha Adonai Amamacha Hamid Nasei Lecha Lerosh Al Shlosha Devarim Al Shlosha Devarim Al Shlosha Devarim Olam Omi Al Shlosha Devarim Al Shlosha Devarim Al Shlosha Devarim Olam Omi Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. You can be seated. So the Rodwinies, we'd like to have them join us on page 250. You can follow along as they lead us in our Torah blessings.
Baruch et Adonai Hamavarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bakar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. V'chi yagur itcha ger b'artzachem lo tonu oto ke'ezrach mikem yihye lachem hager itchem v'ahavta lo kamocha ki gerim heitem be'eretz Mitzrayim Ani Adonai Elohechem Lo tasu avel b'mishpat b'midah b'mishkal uv'amsura Moznei tzedek avnei tzedek ephah tzedek v'hin tzedek yihye lachem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim ushmartem et kol chukotai v'et kol mishpatai v'asitem otam Ani Adonai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chaim olam natan b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Thank you. So I'll read the translation. When a stranger resides with you in your land, you shall not wrong him. The stranger who resides with you shall be to you as one of your citizens. You shall love him as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord, I am your God. You shall not falsify measures of length, weight, or capacity. You shall have an honest balance, honest weights, and an honest ephah, and an honest hin. I am the Lord your God who freed you from the land of Egypt. You shall faithfully observe all my laws and all my rules. I am the Lord your God. I now invite Greg to lift our Torah as we all rise.
V'zot haTorah asher sa Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai
Ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da. Ya da da da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da. You can be seated. Before we introduce our speaker, let us turn to page 253 for our Misha Barak, our prayer for healing. And for those of you who would like to say names in the midst of the prayer, please feel free to raise your hand and I'll look at you and you can say the name aloud. Misha Barak Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. If you have a name to recite. Wasserstrom. Misha Barak Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with Refuah Shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. I now call upon Skip Rodwinny to introduce our speaker.
I have some announcements first. There was a study done, I read about 15 years ago, this is in the medical literature, that demonstrated in a pretty authoritative way and scientifically valid way that remote intercessory prayer, which is what we just did for the names, even among strangers, actually has a positive impact on the person being prayed for. Nobody can explain that, but who knows? But there is a study. I'm sounding, I was writing in today, I'm wearing a t-shirt my son-in-law gave me underneath this, and it says, the older I get, the better I was, and this reminded me of that. First when I got it, I thought, well, that's really nice. And then after a second, I thought, well, it's not so nice, but it's really true. So there you are. The two announcements. Don't forget to sign up for Mitzvah Day, and if you sign up for Mitzvah Day, you have to sign up separately for the dinner. Correct, Art? Yeah. Okay. And the only other thing I have to do is introduce our speaker. Now, to prevent any accusations of conflicts of interest, this was the rabbi's invite. I had nothing to do with this invite, but he did ask me to introduce her since he wasn't going to be here tonight. Now, if any of you think today, it's a very tough world out there. It's very easy to be negative. It's very easy to feel helpless. And like, I can't do anything about all this bad stuff I see. Well, was it 10 years ago you first talked to me? 10 years ago, Holly and I worked together in a hospice program at SUMA. She was one of the clinical leaders, clinical nurse leaders, called me into her office and said, I'm in my graduate program, I have to work on a project. How about if I develop a plan and a project, a home for homeless people who need hospice, because this is a need I've seen. I said, oh, that sounds like a good idea, thinking, okay, bad chance, but it sounds like a good idea. I'll help you in any way you need it. And 10 years later now, we've been open, coming up on 3 years, and we've helped over 100 people in our community live peacefully in the last months of their life. People who would otherwise have no help, no family, no home. And so even though things feel bad, sometimes one person, like Holly, can have an impact just by sticking with it and working for a long time without pay. Come on up. Holly Klein, welcome to Temple Israel. Yes.
Good evening. Thanks so much for having me. What a beautiful service you have, and what a beautiful community. As Skip said, my name's Holly Klein. I am the executive director and co-founder of Grace House, and he makes me sound so good. Thank you, Skip. I am resilient, but it took a village to get Grace House started. So give you a little bit of background about myself, and then I'll tell you a little bit about Grace House. I've been a registered nurse for 26 years. I spent 16 of those years working in hospice. When I first started working in hospice, I would go to people's homes. And when I say home, I really do mean wherever they lived. It could have been a motel, it could have been meeting by a bridge, up to $1 million home. We really saw kind of the gamut. And those people who lacked resources, didn't have family or loved ones, and died alone in conditions we considered undignified and we wouldn't want for our loved ones, really, I carried that burden. Then I stepped into a management position and saw, gosh, this happens more than I thought. So started talking with people, Skip being one of them, and just said, we really should do better, right? We live in a society where we have plenty of resources, plenty of abundance, and we shouldn't allow people we know or don't know to die in these conditions. So from that very first thought in 2015 to now, it took a minute, but I am resilient. I always tell people everything takes a year. So Grace House is a 6-bedroom comfort care home. We're up on North Hill, located on the corner of North Howard and Olive Street, right across from the old St. Thomas. And if you haven't driven by, you gotta drive by and not see it there. It's so odd if you've been in Akron a long time. It's really weird not to see it there. So we're right across the street from there. We have a beautiful view of downtown, and we serve individuals that are enrolled in a hospice program, but they do not have a caregiver or can't afford a caregiver. So about 50% of the folks we serve to date were unhoused prior to coming to us. The other half may be estranged from family, were about to lose their housing, maybe had a spouse who couldn't be a caregiver. And these are the people who kind of fall through our healthcare gaps. Hospice is a wonderful benefit, but what it does not include is covering private caregivers or room and board at nursing homes. So if you live alone, don't have family, are estranged from family, and are not Medicaid eligible in your final days of life, who's there to care for you? So those are the folks that we capture at Grace House. So this quest started in 2015. We took about a year to really fine-tune our vision and what we wanted to do, who we wanted to serve. We incorporated in 2016. In 2017, we became a nonprofit, and we thought, great, we can open, we can serve people. Well, you need a place. And that was a little more complicated than we thought. We had an awareness event, and Cliff Devaney from Summa Health came, and he was like, "Where are you going to be?" I'm like, "I don't know." He called us up and said, "I have land for you." So Summa Health donated the land that we're on. We took possession of that land in 2019. GPD Group, which is a local architectural firm, created our home design. We got that home design in June of 2020. And so here we are in a pandemic, right? Everything's starting to reopen, and we thought, can we do a capital campaign? Can we build a house in the middle of a pandemic? What we thought was the end of a pandemic. And we just said we have to go. You know, we've been talking about this, there's a need. So we launched a very successful campaign. We were able to raise just a little over $4 million in 20 months, which was incredible. Especially for a brand new nonprofit, we were able to build our building with no loan. So we were able to open debt-free, and that's all because of the people in Summit County and Akron. It's such a philanthropic, giving community. So we broke ground in September of 21, and we accepted our first resident in September of 22. We do not charge our residents anything to come be at Grace House. So the easiest way to really think about what we do is we provide the housing, right? The place where hospice care occurs. We provide 24-hour caregivers, so we operate 24/7, 365 days a year. We do the cooking, the cleaning, anything you would do in your own home, and then the hospice providers come in to Grace House and provide the hospice care. So I have caregivers on staff. I don't have nurses. Anything we need, if there's pain out of control in the middle of the night, we call hospice, they come to us. So they are responsible for all the medical management. We get to be the family and care for them and give them a place of dignity. We are very unique. There are only 3 homes like us in the nation. We belong to a group of homes called the Omega Home Network. There's about 60 homes in that network, but the other homes don't focus on primarily housing. They're kind of more like what we would think of for a hospice house. So within that network of homes, there's only 3 of us. And we really do try to focus on our most marginalized and vulnerable community members. We see a lot of residents with severe mental health issues and addiction issues, people who are estranged from families for whatever reason, and sometimes we see somebody who's outlived their family. We just had a 102-year-old, and she just had no family, you know, so we became her family. She was just so sweet. She would sit at our caregiver center and eat Hershey Kisses all day. It was so cute. We do allow our residents to bring their pets, so a great opportunity for anybody who loves pets to come down and volunteer. We have 12 different volunteer roles, so if you have a hobby or an interest, we probably have a place for you. Anything you do in your house, cooking, housekeeping, laundry, there's so much laundry. We have a caregiver to caregiver, so people who come in and volunteer side by side with our caregivers, and then that really important piece of companionship and sitting vigil. We believe that no one should die alone, so we do work hard to ensure our residents, unless it's their request, to not have people with them, but usually, you know, we're able to staff vigils, which is lovely. I do want to share one story with you. Our resident, Polly, we sometimes get patients that are really complicated and have fallen through the cracks for years. Polly was actually one of my very first referrals when we opened, and I followed Polly for a year before we could get her to agree to come to us. Polly was homeless for 20 years. She lived under the awning most times at right over by the Polsky deck, because she was across the street from the police station, so she felt safe there. She was an untreated schizophrenic. So with that comes all kinds of complications. Polly developed a skin cancer. Now, for most of us, a skin cancer would not become terminal, but Polly didn't believe she had cancer nor did she believe she had a mental health issue. So she did not seek any kind of treatment. So we followed Polly for about a year. Finally, we were able to get Polly to come to Grace House. Adult Guardian Services tracked down a family member, an estranged family member who became her guardian, and we were able to seek some mental health treatment. So first of all, just getting Polly to Grace House was like, you know, a touchdown on the Super Bowl. It was like, wow, this is fantastic. Then the fact that we could get Polly treatment and she could have an improved quality of life, and she stayed with us for 9 months before she passed away. That was like a trip to the moon. For the first time in 20 years, she felt part of community and she felt safe. That doesn't mean it was always easy or her symptoms were always great, but it was super important to staff and to me that she felt safe. Her symptoms did become out of control at the end of her life, and we transported her into City Hospital up to the palliative care unit, but she died with our volunteers and staff surrounding her. So even though we had to give her a higher level of care than we could provide at Grace House, she wasn't alone, and her family followed her. So those are some of the types of patients, and you know, if our mission, you know, moves you or you'd like to learn more, our website's really easy, gracehouseakron.org. On there you'll find how to volunteer, ways to donate, ways to support us. It's all on one web page. We're always welcoming new volunteers. I really appreciate your time tonight, and thank you.
We have time for just a couple of questions, if anyone has any. Yes.
First, I want to thank you for what you're doing. It's really tremendous.
Thank you.
But I wanted to ask you, how do the people find you, and how do you find them?
Both ways. So people find us mostly through their hospice providers. We get the majority of our patients that are, you know, their health becomes unstable, they end up in the hospital. Hospice referrals are made, and then they're discharged to us. But we also work very closely with many other nonprofits. I'm always attending meetings, networking, making sure I'm kind of keeping a pulse on who's out unhoused in the community, but maybe I need to start watching for. And then every couple of weeks I just pick up the phone and, hey, how's Sam doing? Or, you know, so.
Any other questions? Greg?
Again, thank you for everything you do. One question is, you mentioned you have six beds. What is the need in the community? Is it 6 beds, or is it larger? Or could you talk about that?
Yeah, we often have a wait list. So there is talk of expansion. The other piece to that is we've learned, well, we already knew, but we've learned it firsthand. When you take people who are unhoused and provide housing with support, it's a successful model. Their health improves. So for our folks who are non-cancer diagnoses, like end-stage heart disease or sometimes liver disease, even lung disease, their health improves, and then they have to leave Grace House once they're discharged from hospice. So we have this small population of people that we're kind of like, oh gosh, now what do we do with, right? And then the other people are like, Polly.
They come to us with a life expectancy of 1 or 2 months, and they leave because their life expectancy is now greater than 6 months.
Yep.
But that's, you know, good care and feeding and support.
And we work hard to get them into housing and supports, but we know that we're gonna see many of them bounce back into us. The other population is people like Polly, who have cancers that were treatable, right? Had they had stable housing, access to medical care. So we are exploring expansion of Grace House beds and expansion on how to catch these other folks. So.
And I will say, Holly and the board, all of us, were pretty rigorous in determining the size of the place.
Yeah.
Not wanting to overbuild and underbuild. And we used 3 different sources of data to come up with 6 beds. I can go into that sometime if you want. Thank you, Goku. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Holly. It's pretty remarkable. I mean, we need more people like you. And you, Skip. We're going to return our tour to the Ark. So if you'll please rise and turn to page 256. עץ חיים היא למחזיקימה ותומכיה מאושר דרכיה דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיה שלום השיבנו אליך ונשובה חדיש ימינו חדיש ימינו כקדם. Page 282. Aleinu. Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו כחמונם ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ודמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. You can be seated. Our thoughts turn now to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and every nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We remember today the period of Shloshim, Anita Block, Faye Spitz, and Jean Hockman, and those whose yahrzeits are happening at this time, Lawrence Adams, Rebecca Bear, Relda Tidal Domer, Stephen Embley, Dr. Stanley B. Epstein, Morris Evans, Irving Fortnoff, Alfred P. Friedman, Charlotte Friedman, Richard S. Garson, Joseph David Goldman, Gertrude Cadis, Sherman Klein, Sylvia Cook, Walter Krongold, Margaret M. Lippman, Jack Lober, Denise Sabet Master, Scott M. McCarthy, Anna Meyer, Doris Nemiroff, Sis Perelman, Louis Rebeck, Fanny Rosenblatt, Milton S. Roth, Sandra Sobel Schiff, Herman Schnittman, Mildred Silverman, Marcia Scorman, Theona Solomon, Dr. Martin L. Sorger, Lily Sorkin, Edith Whitelaw, and Ruth Ann Tootie Wise. If there are names I have mispronounced or names you would like to add, please share them at this time. We turn to page 294 and rise as a community of support as we recite the Mourner's Kaddish. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mavarach Leolam Me'al Maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Dukudashat Barichu. La'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'romav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to all of us and to all of Israel, as we say, amen. Having connected with those we loved and lost, we connect out with the words of the priests. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the Lord cause his countenance to shine upon you and to be gracious. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. And may God grant all of us the most precious gift, and that is of peace. And as we all can say together, Amen. You can be seated for a moment. If anybody has the Shachianu moments, the moments that we are so happy that brought us to this day, I would love for you to share with our congregation. Please raise your hand if you have something to share. Anything special? Anything? It's got to be something good. Somebody. The sun came out today, yes. I went to see Beyonce, that too. Well, thank you all for being here and putting up with my sort of voice today. I'm still getting over whatever this is, and I appreciate you singing with me. So let's all sing Shehechianu and join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Thank you again to Raquel for joining us tonight. Thank you, Lori, for reading Torah so beautifully. And Greg for carrying our Torah. Thank you so much, Skip, for bringing Holly. We really appreciate this. It's wonderful to have you all in our community. Let's join in Hamotzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. And let's join in that prayer for peace again, the rousing version of Oseh Shalom. And please sing along with me. Thanks. Oseh Shalom b'roma, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru amen. Yain da 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 da. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru amen. Shabbat Shalom and go Cavs. Shabbat Shalom.
this thing for so long.